The transport ship landed on the edge of the alien colony, hissing steam into the cold air. The only human on board, a young man named Ethan, stepped out carefully. His boots crunched against the metallic floor of the landing bay around him. Tall, elegant alien figures stared with wide, glowing eyes. Humans were rare here, and Ethan could feel their stares like sharp needles on his back. He clutched the small data chip in his hand. The chip carried the address of the room he had rented. He had no choice. This was the cheapest place in the colony, and his credits were almost gone. The door slid open with a low hum, and the alien landlady stood in the entrance. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver, and her large eyes blinked in slow curiosity. She tilted her head, scanning the human from head to toe. "You are the new tenant," she said in a soft, almost musical voice. "Yes," Ethan replied, forcing a smile. "I'm Ethan." She stepped aside. "I am Zira. This is my home. You will follow my rules." Her home was strange. The walls were alive, pulsing with faint light. The air smelled of something sweet and metallic. Ethan placed his small bag on the floor and tried not to stare at the alien architecture. Zira watched him with intense curiosity. Her kind had seen humans before, but never this close. Never living under the same roof. She circled him slowly, her long fingers hovering near his shoulders but not touching. "You are small," she said suddenly, tilting her head again. "Humans are soft creatures." Ethan laughed nervously. "Yeah, I guess we are." Night came quickly on the alien world. Ethan was exhausted and decided to sleep early. The bed was strange, a soft gel-like material that adjusted to his body. He closed his eyes, trying to ignore the faint hum of the walls. Zira, however, could not sleep. Her curiosity burned like fire. This human was different. She had heard rumors about their biology, whispers among her people, but she had never seen one with her own eyes. She paced outside his room, fighting the urge to look. Then it happened. A faint sound came from Ethan's room. Something shifting. Zira's instincts kicked in. She slid the door open silently. Her glowing eyes peered inside. Ethan stirred, half asleep. Unaware that the alien landlady had entered, he had kicked off his blanket in the heat. His body partially uncovered, Zira froze. Her gaze dropped lower, and her pupils expanded in shock. She stumbled back, her voice breaking the silent room with a scream that echoed through the house. "Human!" she shouted, her tone filled with alarm and disbelief. "Why? Why do you have a Mini Shai-Hulud between your legs?" Ethan jolted upright, his heart pounding. What are you talking about?" Zira pointed a trembling finger at him, her silver skin rippling with panic. Her species revered the Shai-Hulud, a massive sacred creature that lived deep beneath their planet's sands. To her, the shape, the movement, it looked too similar. Ethan grabbed the blanket and covered himself instantly, his face turning red. It's not a Shai-Hulud. That's human biology." But Zira couldn't hear him. Her mind raced. Questions flooded her thoughts. Was this why humans were feared in whispers? Was this their hidden power? The room was silent except for their heavy breathing, Ethan holding the blanket like a shield, Zira standing frozen in the doorway, her glowing eyes locked on him. In that tense moment, neither of them knew what would happen next. The alien landlady's scream had echoed through the house and maybe even outside, if the neighbors heard. The entire colony would know by morning. Ethan swallowed hard, his voice trembling. "Please, close the door." Zira blinked slowly, her expression a mix of fear and fascination. She backed away one step, then another, and the door slid shut. With a soft hiss, Ethan buried his face in his hands. "Great, first day on a new planet, and I've already been called a walking Shai-Hulud." Outside the room, Zira leaned against the wall, her chest rising and falling in quick breaths. Her hands trembled as she whispered to herself, "What are you, human? And what have I let into my home?" The colony night was silent again, but both of them knew that nothing between them would ever be the same. Ethan woke up the next morning with a headache. The memory of last night hit him like a hammer. He groaned and pulled the blanket over his face, hoping it had been some weird dream, but the faint sound of footsteps outside his door told him it was all real. The door slid open slowly, and Zira stepped inside. She didn't scream this time. She didn't even look shocked. Her silver skin shimmered faintly in the morning light, but her large glowing eyes were filled with something Ethan couldn't read. "Human," she said quietly. "We must talk." Ethan sat up, clutching the blanket around his waist. "Look, about last night, that was just a misunderstanding." Zira tilted her head, her voice calm but sharp. "Misunderstanding? You carry a sacred creature inside your body. Humans are more dangerous than we thought." Ethan blinked. "Sacred creature? No, that's not a creature. That's a part of me. It's human biology. We're born like that." Zira stepped closer, her long fingers twitching slightly as if resisting the urge to reach out. "Your kind carries living Shai-Huluds inside you. How many? Do they grow? Do they hatch?" Ethan's face turned red. "Oh God, no. Stop. It's not alive. It's not a Shai-Hulud. It's just a body part, okay? It doesn't hatch. It doesn't grow into some giant sandworm. It's personal." Zira's glowing eyes narrowed. "Personal? You mean it has a purpose, a function?" Ethan hesitated, scratching the back of his neck. How was he supposed to explain human reproduction to an alien who thought his anatomy was a holy monster? "It's, used for making more humans," he said awkwardly. Zira's pupils widened instantly. Her voice trembled. "You create life with a Mini Shai-Hulud." Ethan buried his face in his hands. "Please stop calling it that." She crouched down in front of him, her silver skin shimmering with curiosity. "This changes everything. Human biology is unlike anything we have studied. If the council learns of this, they will not let you leave." Ethan's heart skipped. "Council? Wait, what? You're not going to tell anyone, are you?" Zira leaned closer, her voice a whisper. "You do not understand. To my people, the Shai-Hulud is not just a creature. It is life itself. If they think you carry its essence, they will take you away. They will study you." Ethan froze, the weight of her words hitting him. "Study me? As in, experiment on me?" Zira didn't answer, which was answer enough. He stood up quickly, keeping the blanket around his waist. Okay, listen, you can't tell anyone. It's just a human thing, not some sacred alien thing." Zira stood too, her tall frame towering over him. "I am not sure if I can hide this, human. The walls heard me scream last night. The neighbors may already know." Ethan's stomach dropped. He imagined a group of glowing-eyed aliens storming into the house to drag him away. His voice came out shaky. Okay, then what do we do?" Zira turned away, her long hair like tendrils flowing behind her. "You must teach me. I must understand everything about this. Part of you, if I know the truth, I can speak for you before the council. I can protect you." Ethan felt his face turn even redder. "Teach you? You want me to give you a biology lesson?" Zira turned her glowing eyes back to him. "Yes, if I do not understand, they will take you. But if I can prove it is not what they fear, or what they worship, you may survive." Ethan sat back on the strange gel bed, exhaling deeply. "Great, first week on a new planet. And I'm teaching my alien landlady about human anatomy, so I don't end up in a lab. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The house hummed softly, the living walls shifting faintly as if listening. Zira finally stepped back and nodded. "We start tonight. Until then, you must not leave this house. If anyone sees you, they will ask questions." Ethan groaned, flopping back on the bed. "Fantastic. I'm officially under house arrest because of my own body." Zira turned to leave, her voice soft but firm. "You are not a prisoner, human. You are a secret." The door slid shut behind her, leaving Ethan staring at the ceiling. His heart pounded. His mind spun with questions. How was he going to explain something as simple as human biology to a species that worshipped giant sandworms? And worse, what if the council came before he could? In the quiet of the alien home, Ethan muttered to himself, "This is going to be the weirdest science class ever." But outside, in the dark streets of the colony, glowing eyes watched the house, whispering in a language Ethan could not understand. The rumor had already begun to spread, and the word Shai-Hulud echoed in every hushed voice. Zira pressed her hand against the wall, feeling the vibrations of the whispers. She closed her eyes and whispered back to herself, "I must protect him, no matter what he is." The next night came faster than Ethan expected. The alien world's short days gave him no time to prepare. He sat nervously on the soft gel bed, his fingers tapping against the blanket. Zira entered the room silently, her silver skin glowing. Faintly in the dim light, she held a small crystal device in her hands. It looked like a tablet, but the surface rippled like water. "What's that?" Ethan asked, trying to hide his nerves. "A recorder," Zira replied calmly. "If the council questions us, we must show proof of what you teach me." Ethan groaned. "Great. Not only am I teaching you alien sex ed, I'm being recorded too." Zira tilted her head, her glowing eyes blinking slowly. "Sex ed?" Ethan covered his face with his hands. "Forget I said that." She stepped closer, her tall frame casting a faint shadow over him. "Human, explain everything. I must understand what your Mini Shai-Hulud is, what it does, and why you carry it." Ethan felt his entire body heat up. "It's not a Mini Shai-Hulud. It's... Okay, listen. Humans reproduce differently than your species. That thing isn't a creature. It's just part of my body, like an arm or a leg." Zira's pupils narrowed slightly. "Arms and legs do not create life, human, you told me last night. It is used to make more of your kind." Ethan sighed. "Yeah, but it doesn't do it alone. It's only one part of the process. There's, another part. From females." Zira froze, her silver skin rippling in a strange way. "Another? There are 2 Shai-Huluds?" Ethan's eyes widened. No, females don't have one. They have the other half, like a place where the life grows." Zira leaned back slightly, her glowing eyes locked on him. "Your species combines 2 beings to make life?" Yeah," Ethan muttered. "That's how reproduction works for us." For a long moment, Zira didn't speak. Her breathing was slow, controlled, but her body shimmered with tension. "Do you understand what this means, human? In our culture, the Shai-Hulud is sacred because it is believed to hold the power of creation. If your body carries even a fraction of that power, they will not just study you." Ethan's voice shook. "What do you mean?" Zira stepped closer, until her glowing eyes were inches from his. "They will worship you." Ethan blinked, his brain stalling. "Wait, what? Worship? Like, as a god?" "Yes," Zira whispered, her voice trembling for the first time. "They will make you a holy vessel. You will not be free again." Ethan flopped back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. "Great, so my junk is going to turn me into a religious symbol." Zira didn't laugh. Her expression was serious. Her long fingers clenched the crystal device tightly. "We must keep this secret, human. If the council finds out, you will not survive the honor they place upon you." He sat up quickly, panic rising in his chest. Okay, so we lie. We tell them it's not a Shai-Hulud. We tell them it's just useless." Zira blinked slowly. "Useless? You create life with it. That is the opposite of useless." Ethan rubbed his face. "You're missing the point. We need to make it sound boring, unimportant, like a tale or something." Zira tilted her head, her voice soft. "Do humans have tails?" Ethan groaned. "No, forget it." For the first time, a faint smile touched Zira's alien lips. It wasn't mocking, it was curious. Gentle. "You are strange, human." Before Ethan could reply, the house lights flickered. A low hum filled the air. Zira's head snapped toward the door. Her glowing eyes widened. "They are here." Ethan jumped to his feet. "Who's here?" Zira whispered. "The council scouts. They must have heard the scream last night." Ethan's heart raced. Okay, what do we do?" Zira grabbed his arm with surprising strength. "Hide it." Ethan blinked. "Hide? What?" She stared at him with deadly seriousness. The Mini Shai-Hulud. Ethan's face turned bright red. "That's not how it works." The doorbell chimed, a soft musical tone that felt far too calm for the panic filling the room. Zira stepped back, her tall frame trembling slightly. She whispered quickly, "Stay silent. Do not let them see you." Ethan ducked behind the strange gel bed, pulling the blanket around himself like armor. His heart pounded so loud he was sure the scouts would hear it. The door slid open, and 3 tall figures entered. Their silver skin glowed faintly, their eyes even brighter than Zira's. One of them spoke in a voice like flowing water. "We heard the call. Where is the vessel?" Ethan's blood turned cold. Vessel. They already suspected. Zira stepped forward, bowing her head slightly. "There is no vessel here, honored scouts. Only a frightened human who knows nothing of our ways." The lead scout tilted his head, his glowing eyes scanning the room. "We heard the word Shai-Hulud, spoken in fear." Zira's voice stayed calm, but Ethan could hear the tension. A misunderstanding. "I thought I saw a shadow in the room, nothing more." The scout stepped closer to her, towering even over her tall frame. "If you are hiding the vessel, the council will know." Zira held her ground, her voice sharp now. "There is no vessel. Here, leave my home." For a long, terrifying moment, the room was silent except for the hum of the walls. Then the scouts turned and left without another word. The door slid shut, and the house fell into a heavy silence. Ethan slowly crawled out from behind the bed, his body shaking. "Holy crap! I thought they were going to drag me out." Zira turned to him, her glowing eyes softer now but still filled with fear. "They will return, human. Next time we must be ready." Ethan swallowed hard. "Ready for what?" Zira's voice was barely a whisper. "To convince an entire council that your Mini Shai-Hulud is not the key to life itself." Asterisk. The night after the scouts left, the house felt different. The walls were no longer humming softly. They were tense, like they were listening. Ethan sat on the edge of the gel bed, his hands gripping the blanket as if it could protect him. Zira stood by the doorway, her silver skin faintly glowing in the dim light. Her expression was unreadable, but her glowing eyes were fixed on him. "They will come back," she said quietly. "When they do, they will ask questions we cannot answer." Ethan sighed and rubbed his face. "Yeah, like why my body part looks like their sacred space worm." Zira stepped closer, her voice calm but firm. "Not looks, human, resembles. The shape, the movement, even the way it rests when you sleep. It is not a coincidence." Ethan's face turned red instantly. "Can you please not describe it like that?" She ignored his embarrassment. "Our sacred texts say the Shai-Hulud carried the spark of life beneath the sands. What if your species carries the same spark inside your bodies? What if humans are connected to us?" Ethan blinked. "Okay, slow down. Now you're making it sound like my anatomy is some kind of ancient prophecy." Zira crouched down so their eyes met. "What if it is?" For a moment, the room was silent except for Ethan's rapid heartbeat. He opened his mouth, then closed it again. Finally, he muttered, "That's the weirdest thing anyone's ever said to me." Zira didn't smile. Her glowing eyes were serious. "If the council believes this, they will not let you leave this planet. They will lock you away, worship you, study you, or both." Ethan leaned back against the bed. "Great. So either I become a science experiment or a god. Both sound terrible." Zira straightened slowly, her tall frame casting a faint shadow over him. "There may be a way to save you." Ethan sat up quickly. "Okay, yeah, I'm listening." Her voice dropped lower. "You must answer the forbidden question." Ethan frowned. "The what now?" Zira's silver skin rippled faintly. It is a question my kind only ask when the fate of a being's soul must be judged. If you answer correctly, they will believe you are mortal. If you answer wrong. Ethan swallowed hard. What happens? If I answer wrong? She held his gaze, her voice flat and heavy. They will cut you open to see the truth. Ethan paled instantly. Okay, cool. No pressure at all. Zira crouched again, lowering her voice to a whisper. Human, I must ask you now so you can prepare. Are you ready? Ethan hesitated, his mouth dry. Do I have a choice? No, she said softly. Ethan let out a shaky breath. All right, hit me. Zira leaned in closer until her glowing eyes were inches from his. Her voice carried a strange weight almost. Like a chant, human. What is the purpose of your Mini Shai-Hulud? Ethan froze. His mind went blank. His heart pounded so loud he could barely hear his own thoughts. Zira's words echoed in his head like a drum. He opened his mouth, then closed it. Sweat rolled down his neck. To create life? Zira didn't react. She just stared at him silently. Ethan panicked. Or maybe to share love? Or, I don't know, survival? Still, she didn't move. Her glowing eyes were unreadable. Ethan grabbed his head. What is the right answer? Zira finally blinked slowly. There is no right answer. Ethan's jaw dropped. What? She stood up gracefully, her silver skin shimmering faintly. That is why it is forbidden. The purpose of life cannot be answered. If you say creation, they will see you as divine. If you say pleasure, they will see you as corrupt. If you say survival, they will see you as dangerous. Ethan stared at her in disbelief. So I'm doomed either way? Zira's voice softened. Not doomed. You must make them see you are just human. He ran a hand down his face. And how exactly do I do that? Because right now I feel like a walking religious scandal. Zira stepped closer, her tone quiet, but firm. You must show them that your Mini Shai-Hulud is not a weapon, not a god, not a curse. You must make it ordinary. Ethan laughed nervously. Yeah, sure, easy. I'll just make my anatomy look boring to an alien council who worships sandworms. For the first time, Zira smiled faintly. Human, you are strange, but maybe that is your strength. Before Ethan could reply, the walls pulsed with a deep hum. Zira's glowing eyes widened. She turned toward the door slowly. They are here, she whispered. Ethan's stomach dropped. Already? We didn't even plan anything. Zira reached for his hand, her long fingers cold and smooth against his skin. Do not speak unless I tell you. Do not look afraid. The door slid open with a soft hiss, and the same 3 scouts stepped inside, their glowing eyes locked instantly on Ethan. The lead scout stepped forward, his voice sharp. The council demands the truth, human. Answer the forbidden's question. Ethan's mouth went dry. His entire body froze as the words echoed through the living walls. The 3 aliens waited silently, their glowing eyes piercing through him. Zira squeezed his hand gently, her voice a whisper only he could hear. Be human. Ethan swallowed hard, looked up at the lead scout, and with a trembling voice said, It's not a god, it's not a weapon, it's just me. The room fell silent, the walls stopped humming, even the scouts didn't move, for a long, terrifying moment. Ethan thought he had doomed himself. Then the lead scout tilted his head slightly, his voice softer now. Perhaps that is enough. The scouts left without another word, but the air in the house still felt heavy. Ethan sat on the gel bed with his head in his hands, his heart still pounding from the forbidden's question. He could hear his own shaky breathing. Zira stood near the door, her tall frame stiff and unmoving. Her silver skin shimmered faintly as if reflecting her unease. Her glowing eyes finally turned to him. You bought us time, she said quietly, but not safety. Ethan looked up, his voice tired. What do you mean? Didn't they believe me? Zira walked closer, her footsteps silent against the living floor. Perhaps, or perhaps they are only waiting to see if you are lying. Ethan groaned and flopped back on the bed. Great, so I'm still on trial, and all because of something I can't even control. Zira crouched beside him, her glowing eyes studying his face. You must understand, human. My people have spent thousands of years believing the Shai-Hulud carries the essence of creation. To see something so similar attached to your body, it shakes everything they know. Ethan stared at the ceiling. Yeah, well, it's not exactly my dream to be the intergalactic poster boy for anatomy class. Zira tilted her head. Anatomy class? Ethan smirked weakly. It's where humans learn about bodies, how they work. Zira's eyes widened slightly. Your species studies itself? Ethan blinked. Yeah, doesn't everyone? She shook her head slowly. No, we do not dissect or study our own bodies. We believe they are gifts to be left as they are. Ethan sat up a little. Wait, so you don't even know how your own biology works? Zira's glowing eyes met his. We know what we need to survive. We do not question the divine parts. Ethan's face turned red again. Oh God, so you think my— Yes, she interrupted. Softly, to them, you are carrying something divine. Ethan buried his face in his hands. Fantastic, I always wanted to be a holy relic, for the first time. Zira reached out and touched his shoulder lightly. Her fingers were cool and smooth. Human, if we are to save you, we must understand everything about your body, every secret, every function. If I can explain it to the council as ordinary, they may release you. Ethan peeked out from behind his hands. You want to study me? Zira's voice was calm but serious. Yes, I must see what makes you human. Ethan hesitated, his face heating up. Okay, but we're talking scientific study, right? Not weird alien rituals? Zira blinked slowly. Scientific. He exhaled in relief. Good, because I am not ready for some intergalactic fertility ceremony. She tilted her head slightly. Fertility? Ethan waved his hands quickly. Forget I said that. Zira stood and stepped back, her glowing eyes scanning him carefully. Remove your coverings. Ethan's entire body locked up. Excuse me? To study, she said simply. I must see how the Mini Shai-Hulud connects to the rest of your body. Ethan clutched the blanket like a shield. No way. I'm not just gonna— This is not how science works. Zira crossed her arms, her expression calm but firm. Do you want to live, human? Ethan groaned into the blanket. Why does survival always involve me getting naked on alien planets? Slowly, reluctantly, he lowered the blanket just enough to reveal his torso. His face was bright red. Zira leaned closer, her glowing eyes scanning every inch carefully. You are soft, she whispered. Your skin bends and moves like water, and yet there is strength beneath. Ethan tried not to die of embarrassment. Yeah, thanks, I guess. Her long fingers hovered just above his skin, not touching. Your body is different from ours. We are born of sand and light. You are born of flesh and blood. Ethan tilted his head. Sand and light? That's poetic, Zira's glowing eyes met his. And perhaps true. Perhaps that is why we see the Shai-Hulud in you. Ethan groaned and pulled the blanket back up. Can we please stop saying that word every 5 seconds? Zira straightened and nodded. Very well, mini-human. Ethan's jaw dropped. That's worse. For the first time, a faint laugh slipped from her lips. It was soft and strange, like wind through glass. But it was a laugh. Ethan blinked at her. Did you just laugh? Her glowing eyes softened. Perhaps you are. Unusual. Before Ethan could reply, the walls pulsed again. A low hum filled the air. Zira's smile vanished instantly. Her glowing eyes hardened. They are coming back, she whispered. Ethan's heart skipped. Already, we just finished round 1. Zira turned to him, her voice sharp but calm. Listen to me, human. If they take you tonight, they will never return you. You must trust me now. Ethan stood quickly, panic rising. Okay, what do we do? Zira reached for his hand, gripping it tightly. Her silver skin was cool. Her long fingers strong. "We run." Ethan froze. "Wait, run? As in, leave the house? Leave the colony?" Her glowing eyes met his, deadly serious. "If they see you again, they will not see a man, they will see a god." Ethan swallowed hard. "And gods don't get to go home, do they?" Zira shook her head slowly. "No human, they never do." Asterisk. The night was colder than usual as Ethan and Zira moved silently through the empty streets. The colony lights flickered softly above them, casting silver and blue shadows on the ground. Ethan's heart pounded with every step. His legs felt heavy, his mind racing with panic. "Are you sure about this?" he whispered, glancing around nervously. Zira's glowing eyes scanned the dark alleys, her tall frame moving like liquid silver. "If we stay, they will take you. If we run, there is still hope." Ethan clutched his bag tighter. "Great, so we're fugitives now." Zira didn't answer. She kept walking quickly, leading him away from the heart of the colony. The walls of the living buildings seemed to pulse as they passed, as if whispering warnings to each other. Ethan swore the whole city was alive and watching them. They reached the outer gates when a deep, resonant hum filled the air. Ethan froze. "What is that?" Zira's silver skin rippled with tension. "The summons they know." Before Ethan could react, lights appeared all around them. Tall silver figures stepped out of the shadows. Their glowing eyes locked on him. The scouts had found them. Zira stepped in front of him, her voice sharp. "He is under my protection." The lead scout's voice was calm but heavy. "The council demands the vessel. You cannot run from the truth." Ethan's breath caught. "I am not a vessel," he shouted before he could stop himself. His voice echoed through the cold air. The scouts didn't move. Their glowing eyes only narrowed. The lead scout tilted his head slightly. "Then you will prove it before the council." Zira's fingers tightened around Ethan's arm. She leaned close and whispered, "Do not speak unless I tell you. Do not show fear." Ethan swallowed hard. "Yeah, sure, no problem. Totally not terrified right now." The scouts formed a circle around them. The ground beneath their feet pulsed faintly as if alive. And in a flash of blinding light, the street melted away. Ethan gasped and stumbled. The next moment, they were standing inside a vast chamber. The council's hall was enormous. The walls curved like the inside of a living creature, glowing with faint pulses of blue and white. Dozens of tall alien figures stood in silence, their glowing eyes like tiny suns in the dim light. At the center, a throne-like structure rose from the floor. On it sat the High Speaker, her silver skin brighter than any Ethan had seen. Her voice rolled through the chamber like thunder and wind together. "Human," she said, "step forward." Ethan felt his knees lock. Zira gently pushed him forward. He forced his legs to move, every step echoing in the silence. He stopped at the center of the glowing floor, his hands shaking at his sides. The High Speaker's glowing eyes studied him. "You carry the shape of the Shai-Hulud, the essence of creation. Do you deny it?" Ethan opened his mouth, but Zira's voice cut through the air before he could speak. "He is not divine," she said firmly. "He is flesh, he is mortal." The High Speaker tilted her head. "Mortal flesh does not carry the spark of life." Zira stepped forward, her tall frame protective beside him. "You see a symbol in his body. I see a being who bleeds, who fears, who survives. That is no god, that is life itself." The chamber murmured softly, a strange sound like wind against stone. The High Speaker raised her hand and the whispers stopped instantly. Her glowing eyes turned back to Ethan. "Human, answer with your truth," she said, her voice like a weight pressing against his chest. "What is the purpose of what you carry?" Ethan's mouth went dry. His mind screamed 1,000 answers at once. He glanced at Zira. Her glowing eyes met his, calm but firm. He took a deep breath and spoke, his voice trembling but loud enough to echo through the hall. "It's not sacred. It's not a weapon. It's not a curse. It's just human. It's part of who we are. We use it to live, to love, to make more of us. But it's not divine. It's just me." For a moment, The chamber was silent. The walls stopped pulsing. The glowing eyes of the council stared at him without a word. Then the high speaker spoke, her voice softer now. Just you, Ethan nodded, his knees shaking. Yeah. Just me. The high speaker tilted her head slowly. Perhaps we were wrong. A wave of whispers rolled through the council chamber. The glowing walls pulsed faintly again, not in alarm, but in something that felt like relief. Zira stepped closer to him, her voice quiet but strong. He is human, not a vessel, not a god. Let him live. The high speaker's glowing eyes stayed on Ethan for a long moment before she finally spoke. If what you say is true, human, then you carry not the essence of creation, but the burden of being misunderstood. Ethan let out a shaky laugh. Yeah, story of my life. The high speaker raised her hand, and the scout stepped back. The hum in the chamber softened. Her final words echoed like a promise and a warning. You may live, but the secret you carry will not be forgotten. In a flash of light, Ethan and Zira were back in the empty street, the colony silent around them. Ethan dropped to his knees, gasping for air. Did we win? He asked, his voice weak. Zira crouched beside him, her glowing eyes softer than he had ever seen. We survived, she whispered. But survival is not the same as freedom. Ethan looked up at the alien sky, his voice trembling. And what happens now? Zira glanced back at the glowing heart of the colony, her silver skin rippling faintly. Now, we see if a human and a Shai-Hulud can truly live under the same roof. The colony was quiet when Ethan and Zira returned to her home, the living. Walls pulsed faintly, no longer in alarm, but in something softer, almost like a sigh of relief. Ethan sat heavily on the gel bed, his hands still shaking, his body felt drained. Not just from fear, but from carrying the weight of an entire misunderstanding. Zira stood in the doorway for a long moment, her tall silver frame silhouetted by the faint light of the colony outside. Her glowing eyes stayed on him, watching, measuring. You faced the council and lived, she said softly. Few beings can say that. Ethan let out a shaky laugh. Yeah, add it to my resume. Survived alien court because of my anatomy. That'll impress people. Zira tilted her head slightly, the faintest trace of a smile touching her alien lips. You joke, but what happened tonight will echo for years. Ethan leaned back on the bed, staring at the glowing ceiling. Great, so I'm officially the galaxy's weirdest rumor now. Zira stepped closer, her voice calm. Not rumor symbol, Ethan groaned. That's even worse. For a moment, they sat in silence. The house hummed softly around them, as if listening. Finally, Zira crouched beside him, her glowing eyes gentle now instead of sharp. You are strange, human, soft, fragile. Yet you carry something my people fear and worship at the same time. Ethan looked at her, his voice quiet. Yeah, well, I didn't exactly ask to be your holy biology experiment. Zira's silver skin shimmered faintly as she leaned closer. Perhaps that is why you are different. You do not seek worship. You only seek to live. Ethan chuckled weakly. Yeah, survival tends to be my top priority. Zira tilted her head. And yet you stayed. You could have lied and tried to escape the colony alone. But you trusted me. Ethan shrugged. Didn't really have much of a choice. Her glowing eyes softened even more. You had a choice, human. You chose to trust an alien who called you a vessel and screamed at your body. Ethan smirked. Well, when you put it like that, it sounds way worse. For the first time, Zira laughed softly, the strange wind-through-glass sound filling the room. Ethan found himself smiling despite the exhaustion. The walls pulsed faintly. The hum soft and almost warm. Zira glanced at them and then back at Ethan. The house listens. It approves of you. Ethan blinked. The house approves of me? Great. Now I'm winning over alien architecture too. Zira stood slowly, her tall frame graceful in the dim light. You may not understand yet, but tonight you changed something in my people. Ethan tilted his head. Changed what? There. Opinion on humans? Or just me? Zira's glowing eyes met his. Both. He sat up, his voice quieter now. So, what happens next? Am I still in danger? Zira stepped closer, placing a long, cool hand gently on his shoulder. You will always be in danger, human. Secrets do not vanish. They only wait. Ethan sighed. Great pep talk. Her hand stayed on his shoulder, steady and calm. But you are not alone anymore. He looked at her, their eyes meeting in the dim glow, and for the first time since arriving in the colony, Ethan felt something other than fear, something like belonging. Thanks, he said quietly. Zira nodded slowly. Perhaps one day, my people will learn what I am learning now. Ethan raised an eyebrow. And what's that? Her glowing eyes softened as she spoke, her voice almost a whisper. That sometimes, life hides its greatest truths inside the smallest, strangest things. Ethan chuckled. That's a poetic way to talk about my junk. Zira tilted her head. Junk? Ethan laughed louder this time, the sound bouncing off the living walls. Never mind, forget it. For the first time since he had stepped off the transport ship, the fear in his chest loosened a little. Zira stepped back and looked around the room as if making a decision. This is your home now, she said, her voice calm but firm. Ethan blinked. Wait, what? I'm staying? Like, permanently? Zira's glowing eyes held his. The council will watch you. The colony will whisper about you. You cannot return to the stars without drawing attention. But here, you will be safe. And here, I will protect you. Ethan let the words sink. And he was no longer just a human renting a cheap room on an alien world. He was a secret, a symbol, and maybe something more. He let out a long breath, a small smile tugging at his lips. Guess I'm officially the galaxy's weirdest roommate. Zira tilted her head, her silver skin shimmering faintly in the dim light. No, human, she said softly. You are officially my human. The house hummed warmly around them, and for the first time, Ethan didn't feel like a mistake or a symbol. He just felt seen outside. The colony was quiet, but somewhere deep beneath the alien sands, the ancient Shai-Hulud stirred. Faintly, as if it too had heard the story of the human and the alien who dared to rewrite what life meant. Asterisk.